Let's look at composition. Some simple options but very powerful ones. One of the most commonly used concept is what's called the rule of thirds. It's taken from a 14th, 15th century mathematical concept of the golden section or the golden mean. In modern times, that's really been boiled down to, for most of us, a rule of thirds. So if this is our drawing space, essentially what we do is we divide, you can measure it, or if you get used to it you can use your eye, measure it into 9 equal parts. So we've got 1, 2, 3 that way and 1, 2, 3 that way, hence the rule of thirds. If you want to measure it, you can use a ratio of 5 to 8, or you can use a method using compass and ellipses, which is another way of doing it, where you can extend the image area out. But for this simple demonstration, it's the rule of thirds that's very commonly used to help us make decisions around where things are in the picture, where we want the eye to be drawn to, and so on. Where you can see the lines crossing over, in this case there are 4 of them, these are called the focal points, and these crosshairs are where we would put, or where we would place near to, some of the points of interest in our painting or our drawing. So this is the rule of thirds, and it is extremely powerful. So if we were to think of an image that might be on this, then let's have a look at another sheet. Okay, so if we were to take our image area, I always tend to draw an image area within my sheet of paper, even if I've got a large sheet of paper, so I've got an edge around for drawing doodles or little exercises or little tryouts, or just even writing notes in the margin here. Very, very helpful. But it also gives me a clear space within which to draw. The edge of the paper can be a bit anonymous, particularly if it's on a similar coloured background, and it just helps you to frame it. So if we were to roughly put in our thirds, you might be able to see this on the camera, I'm not too sure, but if we say there, then we can use, one of the common ones would be perhaps a landscape or a still life. Let's choose a still life. So if we were to use this line here, and if we were to maybe do a bottle on that line, for example, I would know that that is in a very good, strong location within the rectangle. It's to the left, it's on the line of the rule of third, one of them. And there's a focal point here, and there's a focal point here. Now it could be that this is something that you want, such as a reflection perhaps of someone in the bottle, or it could be that there's something particularly you want to be of interest over there. It might not. And then we can use these horizontal lines as well to give us horizon lines. If we give a high one, then it feels as if the surface of the table in this case is tipping up. If we have a low one, it makes the table sit back down, much the same way in landscape. So let's give it a high one, and let's draw that edge quite hard, and let's just take that so it just touches the top of the shade there, of the sheet of paper, or the edge. And let's just take, let's say we've got a light source coming in from here, so we would have a nice shape there. So what I'm doing here is, as well as using the compositional tool, I'm starting to close off these shapes, which is really important. If you can close off a shape, then it gives it strength and vitality, and it starts to fit together a bit like a jigsaw. Anyway, focusing on the rule of thirds, the light's coming down on that, on this side. Okay. So what else could I do? I might need to bring it along this line here, because I've got 2 more focal points I can play with. So it may well be that we put, I don't know, a plate perhaps. So let's get rough, or a bowl perhaps, which may have some fruit in it. And again, this may be to do with the texture or the drama, that I want to get it on this crosshair here. Or it may be that I want to just make it a bit off-centre, just to make sure that I've got some of the benefit of the rule of thirds what I call the scaffolding, which is these lines which cut across the sheet, including the closed off area of the image. And then I can start to play with other features, imagining if we had the light, then we'd see there'd be some very interesting shadows across this whole bottom area, from the bottle and then from the bowl and so on. So all what you can see is that there is something quite interesting happening about the sense of balance and proportion. And you can use that in any image, any idea. It can be a landscape, townscape, it can even be a portrait, where you use these focal points here. So that gives you a very quick idea of how you can use the rule of thirds to help you make decisions about composition and design, because a lot of the image making at this stage is about the design element, once you've worked out what it is you're trying to actually paint. So there you go, there is the rule of thirds.